Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. It's Thursday. It's Korner Booth pregame.
No debate, cause it's all. I'm too official, got the drip, I got the sauce. Bring the proof when it's time to tell the truth. I'll be at the corner booth, find me in the corner booth, yeah. Still standing and defiant. Play the competition, cause I'm walking like a giant. Bring the proof when it's time to tell the truth. I'll be at the corner booth, find me in the corner booth.
Love to see this team add another receiver, whether that's trade or free agency.
That's okay. Pittsburgh's the AARP retirement home.
There's a bunt record. That person's never going to have to worry about that thing ever getting broken.
I hate analytics. I think it's ruined the game I grew up loving.
I will do unspeakable things for the Giants to win this rule.
Oh, pause.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Korner Booth pregame. I am, of course, your amazing host, Mr. Jerry Klim. We are live here on a beautiful Monday evening. Happy Victory Monday to all those who celebrate. I feel awful for my Roll Tide faithful today. You guys screwed me in the picks competition because apparently I should have realized Kalen DeBoer can't coach himself out of a paper bag. But then, I feel bad for Alabama fans today. But last night, we had a pretty fun game. We had a pretty fun six-pack. We're going to be talking all about that today. We have the NFC East preview as well today as well. So definitely going to have a good time with this one. Both of our guests got sick. One of them was, of course, one of our guest hosts. His co-host got sick. He literally texted me at 7 a.m. this morning as I'm on the ferry. I'm on a boat. Literally, I get a text from him. Hey, I can't make it today. Okay, that's fine. Don't worry about it. The other one, I saw an Instagram story. He was sick, and he didn't respond to me. So I was like, you know what? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool once, don't fool me. Get whatever the George Bush quote is. I'm trying to be funny here, but I'm just done reaching out to that guy for guest appearances because it's always like trying to pull teeth. Either way, gentlemen, we have a great amount of content. First off, joining me is my co-host, very handsome Italian gentleman. Wait a minute, that's not Matt Ordazzo. Ladies and gentlemen, co-host of High Low Sports, Hunter Renfro stunt double, and my good friend and one handsome gentleman who's in his own right, Mr. DJ Starr. DJ, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for filling in.
Glad to help. I'm not quite the Italian style. Maybe like the Irish Mustang, something like that. Like we'll find something in there. Like I'll get it figured out.
Irish Clydesdale?
I'll take it. You know what? Clydesdale's not the worst name I've been called. It's better than like the Irish Pony or the My Little Pony or something like that. So I'll take
Irish Donkey.
Hey, I'll take it. But glad to be here. A very busy weekend, a very fun weekend. And you know what? You're lucky I just got over my own sickness. Otherwise, it might have been a three-peat. Like if anyone saw our fantasy draft live stream last year, I had to pull off after every sentence that died.
Yeah, I can relate to that. We've had episodes where basically I've been fighting back illness, sickness, and everything else. But you know who's also in the background today? He's happy for because his second college team won on Saturday. He's still technically a college free agent, but he's also ready to talk some NFC East ball. Nate, what's up, buddy?
Hi, boss. Hi, DJ. Good to see you both. Yes, Cal won, very surprisingly. I was very impressed by the freshman quarterback. I still know how to say his name, but it's okay. I'm still a free agent. What's nice about being a free agent is just I can be happy for other teams. I can be happy for Miami. I love that game. Was so much fun to watch. The Ohio State game was kind of a bore, but still fun to watch as well. It was a great weekend of college football. I'm just so glad football's back. And Jared, 3 more days till we see your boys open the season.
I'm going to be blasting DMX. What's my name the entire day on loop, just barking as I'm driving through town. People are going to look at me like I'm like I have a mental deficiency more than usual. Anyway, I'm not going to beat around the bush. We got so much for college football to talk before we talk NFC East. No crazy headlines have kind of broken off in the last couple of days in the NFL. Micah has a minor back issue, but apparently he's going to just need a shot before he plays on Sunday. I mean, people on Twitter are overreacting like it's the cause. It's like the ultimate cause of death for the deal. I'm like, guys, it's just a back injury. Relax. But other than that, yeah. So we're just going to get right into it because there's so much college football to talk about today. We'll start with the Thursday game. We'll touch on this quickly. I was disappointed. Nebraska ends up winning 20-17. they did not look as good on offense as I thought, and Cincinnati hung in there. They were playing them tight. I thought this was the year we were going to start seeing Dylan Raiola and Matt Rule in year 2 really start to make the jump, and they look sloppy. And I know it's week 1, but you think with a whole offseason in the same offense, a lot of weapons coming back, they'd be able to kind of string it together, but they looked sluggish. But you guys were talking about this pre-show when I hopped in, a lot of sluggish offenses to start. I don't know, thoughts on Cincinnati, Nebraska?
Okay, Dylan Raiola, this is such an awful letdown. You get to go into week 1 playing in Kansas City in front of your doppelganger Patrick Mahomes. You get a chance to fully live out the prophecy with how he looks, dresses, and everything else he does, trying to be Dylan Raiola's clone. It is all right. I mean, Patrick left during the game. Like, that's got to be the ultimate. Considering no matter what he says, Raiola is trying his hardest to be Patrick Mahomes 2.0.
He's like my creator left me.
I guarantee he puts ketchup on steak and everything in between. So that was a little bit meh, but like we've talked about, it was week 1. We don't hold too much to it. Cincinnati, I'm intrigued. Is this just because of week 1 thing, or are they going to be weirdly competitive? They're the one I'm more interested. I think
That's always been their shtick, though. They go through these cycles. They lose their coach to a Big Ten team. Their coach struggles, then sucks, and then Brian Kelly kind of just kept failing upward. But then they lost Lou Fickle. They have 2 years of being bad, and now boom! Now they're back at being moderately competitive. It's like the cycle of life of Cincinnati. It's kind of funny actually.
Circle wise, so I'm curious if they keep this up throughout the year. Nebraska, I think they'll be fine. They'll be competitive throughout the year. I think they'll be all right. They'll be in some games. The offense will get better. I don't think it'll be that stagnant, but they really got to make a little bit more of a jump this year. You mentioned Matt Rule. I think it's year 3, year 2 with Dylan Raiola. They've built steady blocks throughout. I think it's time for them to really, I don't say make some noise because that's dramatic. They don't have to go to the national championship or anything like that. Their standards are the floor, but
just compete. Just compete.
Exactly. Be annoying for really good teams. Beat maybe a team that you're 50-50 with here or there. Maybe get 22, 23, somewhere in the 20 rankings and hold it. Something like that. I think now it's time to step up.
Be what Virginia Tech has turned into. Be constantly in the top every other couple of years, or Louisville, like one of those moderately successful mid-tier teams in their conference, and then you build up to like being the top tier team. So there's always levels. Yeah, be aggressively okay. It's okay to be aggressively okay in college football. There's only a couple dominant powers, and we're about to talk about the next game where it wasn't even in the 6-pack, but it cost me a point because the team is the most undisciplined bunch of weenies I've ever seen in my life, and Kalen DeBoer should be ashamed of itself. Nate, any thoughts on Nebraska and Cincinnati before we move on?
Now let's get into these doozies now.
Sorry, Nate, Sorsby. No, you're good. Sorsby, great running quarterback, cannot throw the ball to save his life. That's all I gotta say. He costed me as well in some other money related stuff, but I digress.
Not gambling advice. That ranking ain't staying that way forever. Bama 17, FSU 31. Now, on top of the fact that I despise FSU, everything they stand for, and I cannot wait to play them in 5 weeks and kick them all the way down the panhandle of Florida. The Tommy Castellanos thing, dude, he's so cocky for a kid who got booted out of Boston College. But he looked good. But I can't. It's weird to kind of say, no, maybe this is me with a little anti-FSU bias. And I'll fully go off the rip right now wearing the Miami hat. But I couldn't tell what was a lack of ability and a lack of hustle from Alabama and what was actual talent from FSU. That game looked so lopsided. It almost kind of felt like when Miami played Middle Tennessee and got their head kicked in. Like, they beat them by 30. And it was the most embarrassing. It was probably the darkest day in Miami football, at least besides the Al Golden firing Clemson 56-10 game or whatever. But it's the darkest day, at least. Those are the 2 darkest days I can remember as a Miami fan. That probably was worse. And as an Alabama fan, this has got to just hurt. Like, dude, FSU wasn't even – they were supposed to be a year away from getting back. And now everyone's anointing them like an ACC contender. I'm just like, huh? What? Why? Where am I seeing this? So I don't know, Deej. I'm curious what your thoughts on this game were, because I watched it. I was listening to it while I was driving back because I was doing a bunch of stuff with the family, and I was trying to listen to it and watch it when I could, and it was just a pain in the butt. But also, the other game was taking place at the time of this were a little more entertaining, so I kind of kept flipping back and forth, and it was a whole weird thing. college football needs like the YouTube TV's panel thing is a lifesaver, but they need to start putting it on your phone because if you're not home, it's a nightmare trying to watch all the games. Thoughts on Bama FSU?
So I'm trying to think of like an accurate description of a team where like they're clearly still talented. They're still Alabama. They still got good players, but something's I don't want to say they're quitting because obviously that's a little dramatic, but it feels like it's almost like there's no heart there, I guess. Like name one time in the Nick Saban era, they lost plenty of games. Like you remember Texas A&M Johnny, like they have games you just lose and it's like, wait, what?
Yeah, but like there was the vibe
in the field, the half nature of it, the details were terrible. Ryan Williams, for all that he's only 17, hasn't had a 100-yard game since that Georgia game where he broke out. Like something's just a little bit off with them. I think Kalen DeBoer should not have went to Alabama when he did. I know that money was something different. I know it's a $76 million buyout if they want to fire him, so he's not getting fired. Or if he is, those boosters are going to be real pissed. He needed to wait for somebody else to get fired after Nick Saban first. I think the way he does things is just so different that you can't make that sharp of a change. Like, I'm not saying his way is wrong, but it's wrong for Alabama.
I think the problem
isn't off. Like, they have no discipline, feels like.
I think, so there's a play. I think it's one of the last touchdowns, and you see 18. I can't remember what the kid's name was. Right? Linebacker. He's walking. He's looking like me after 6 miles of running, where I'm like, I'm about to heave, jogging down the field after like 18 gassers. Bro, you're middle of the game. You're one of the top athletes in the country, most likely. What are you doing? So
the worst case scenario, you're playing for your NFL career. You hustle on tape regardless, just so you look good for yourself. Even if the game's over, you don't do that. Like even in the Nick Saban era, when the years they were off, you'd see guys hustling because they're like, "Oh, this is my ticket to the NFL. If I'm running, I'm good to go." Because coaches care about that.
I think my biggest thing right now is just like it just feels like the Bama magic is gone. That's the best way I can word it. It feels like the Nick Saban power and grit and dominance is just gone, and it just feels weird. I mean, listen, if it's just as weird as DJ's connection crapping out for 2 seconds.
The board did not like me spitting that fire. He cut the cord real quick, like you watch your mouth, son.
College football is better with Nick Saban at the helm, but the issue really turns into the fact that he was just done with what college football is now. The way Nick Saban ran his program, he'd be butting heads with people all the time. It took Dabo, 5 years to get his crap together? Now they actually have a decent team. So it's a weird thing right now. I don't know where you go if you're Alabama. This is just like, I know you rebound, but like I was watching TikTok takes of college football all day today because I wanted to get some juices flowing, kind of hear what everyone else is talking about. And one take I heard was that like the maxes are going to be at back end of the top 25. I was like, dude, if we said this stuff 5 years ago, we're mentally committed to some like insane asylum because Alabama's been the definition of dominance since 2009. So it's and I think it was 128 days or 128 games for Nick Saban to lose four unranked teams. Kalen DeBoer's done it in a season and a game.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. I don't know.
And not only that, they have LA Monroe next week. So if they're not up by like 28 at halftime, Kellen DeBoer is not coming out for the second half. Like that leash is so thin right now, you can already tell. And they got Georgia coming up this month on the 27th. So they got to figure it out in time for that because you can't go into that game with these same issues because despite what anyone can say about Georgia, they will rout you if you come in there not on your P's and Q's. But
Kirby's still
Alabama has had Kirby's number, but we'll see. This is a unique.
He's ready to take some punches back. Nate, any thoughts on Bama FSU?
I mean, Ryan Williams didn't look the same. I mean, I know he had a concussion in the fourth, but like even before that, he wasn't really, he wasn't what we expected him to be in the first game. Not sure why. I wasn't sure if he was even injured to enter to start the game, but hopefully he's okay. But no, Castellanos, I know he was, and not like you mentioned, he was a little cocky, but he backed up his talk from.
He walked. He did it. He did what he was supposed to do. So I'm impressed with it. I really am.
Yes, sir.
He ain't doing that against Clemson or Miami or the top of the ACC, though. He ain't pulling that off. If he pulls off against them, then talk that trash. But I think the top of the ACC is going to have something else to say to him if he tries that.
Fair. I think the biggest thing with the ACC itself, we're going to talk about two other teams in about 5 seconds. What?
Oh, Nate was doing the
I'm just ignoring it at this point.
We don't do that here. We don't allow that around these.
We do this here. On this show, we do this. You start doing this, you get sent to the shadow realm. So I guess last final point on it is just like the ACC itself. The ACC, I think, is up this year. I think there's going to be 4 or 5 teams that are going to have a swinging shot at the playoff, which might be more in the SEC because I think besides, Georgia, I think Texas will get it together. We're about to talk about them in a minute. And LSU and South Carolina, I don't think there's a 5th team. I don't consider Tennessee that. I mean, listen, Joey Aguilar looked great, but then again, the bar was set so low because Nico could not hit the broadside of a barn, but yet they just somehow found ways to win. The SEC is so weird this year, and I don't think Bama's even going to sniff the playoff. I might not even sniff a decent bowl game, but we don't know. They could turn around next week and smoke like the next 4 teams they play. I'm not sure. This is why week 1's so hard to judge everything. But what's not hard to judge was this game sucked. I was not happy. I watched as much of this game as I could. I was on the go doing a bunch of things for family. But I'm in a diner waiting to pick up food from me and my pop, and I'm literally watching this game while they're making my sandwich, and I'm literally just like watching. First of all, Sark's play calling was abysmal. Like, I get it, Manning is new to this thing, but if you're going to hype this kid, you have an entire offseason with him behind the helm. Dude, just take chances. You're playing the national champs with a new quarterback. Missing half their defense. Dude, take some shots. Why not? It's there. And they looked scared, sluggish. It looked like when an NFL team goes into the week with a backup quarterback and they know they're going to have to call everything conservative, even if the game's on the line, they won't pull the leash. And I think this was I think Sark is equally to blame as much as Archie. And listen, Archie's going to bounce back. I think this kid actually has a lot of talent. I don't buy the whole NFL college football Bronny James comparison that people are making, but like, dude, he's got to do better. His mechanics were getting sloppy. He looked like he was making the wrong reads. Everything just looked off. The Arch we saw when he come in relief for Ewers just wasn't there. I don't know. It was small sample sizes, but still. Ohio State, listen, they're not going to be the dominant team they were last year. Jeremiah Smith's still a freak. Mitchell, their other receivers, terrifying too. But the new kid at quarterback looked incredible. I love their defense. They played with a lot of grit, and they were making plays on the ball, and they really weren't allowing Texas to get the ball running the ball. So I mean, Ryan Day comes out like, we got the win. We didn't look awful. Build from here. I think it's the best way. Ohio State is like, that's a 7 out of 10 win. Let's just go and move on to the next round.
Yeah, absolutely. I felt like Archie mentioned last year in relief, he looked a lot better. His throwing mechanics and motion just looked a little bit off too. Like, it was like he was. I'm not gonna say he had a shoulder injury. I'm not gonna go that deep into the conspiracy theory, TikTok, Twitter, etc. But the way he was laboring, almost maybe had a sore shoulder and was just like it would like come down a little bit. So I don't. Yeah, some of those throws were just a little bit off. I don't think that was a reason. He still made the wrong read. Still was a little bit off. But I think that was one thing I noticed. You mentioned Sark's play calling. Not the Sarkest of Sark games, that's for sure, compared to some of the ridiculousness we saw last year. And your first career actual start in Ohio State, in the horseshoe, Lee Corso's final headgear pick, and he picks the bucket. Like, that's a ridiculous. It's like everything in the world is going against you at that point. As much as I love this matchup, I wish all of the great matches we had this week, like we had some elite ones across the board. We're going to talk about some more. I wish they were week 2, because with college football not having the preseason, I wish we could get week 1, knock the dust off a little bit.
Every
then we
team
get all
gets
these
tune-up game kind of thing, but they need it for billing. I mean,
I get it. I'm selfish.
Take mid-level like ranked teams. Like, I think like no team in the top 10 should have to play like a crazy week 1 game. Like I wish Miami Notre Dame was week 2 as well. I mean, I would love to see what Carson Beck looks like with a full week of reps with Malachi Toney and CJ Daniels and the rest of that crew. Also, I think they're running the ball. They figured it out in the second half, but they were just the defense was miscommunications. We'll talk about that game in a little bit, but then you go to like Syracuse, looked flat for half the game. They started figuring out in the second half, but it was way too late, and I'm laughing because, bye, Fran. LSU looked abysmal in the first half. I believe, 10 unanswered, 17 unanswered. They came out storming. So
Aaron Nussmeier nussed it up, yeah.
Exactly. It just, I think there's a lot of sloppiness week 1. I think we're going to see next week and the week after, I think we're going to see a lot more of, okay, this team is legitimate. They just had a bad stumble and they got screwed in their schedule. That's kind of the vibe I get here with Texas. I think Texas will still be a top 5 team. I think they still win the SEC. Or if not them, then it's Georgia. There's a lot of, they got to work out some kinks in this offense because whatever they were trying to achieve, they missed the mile.
Trust me, boss. They play San Jose State this week. They're going to be fine. They're going to
I guarantee both teams win by 21 plus next week. I think they'll both be good. They got the kinks out against each other. It's not going to get any harder for either of them the rest of the year, arguably. Like, this might be their toughest opponent the rest of the way.
Ohio State has Grambling State next, so.
Yeah.
I'm going to change that to they're going to win by 35. I'd like to amend my statement. 21 might be a bit low.
Oh, poor Grambling. All right. LSU Clemson, though, this game, as much as it was low scoring as well, it only two field goals separated from Ohio State and Texas. This game felt more entertaining, though. The turnovers, the nastiness of defense, Death Valley at night, and Nussmeier's late game heroics. Dude, I'm not going to lie. I know it's Brian Kelly, but I'm kind of getting a good vibe out of LSU, man. They look fun. They look aggressive. This doesn't look like a Brian Kelly team to me. This looks like an Ed Orgeron team. I was like, oh, okay, they're having some fun now. It feels like they pulled the stick out of their ass. That's basically the best way I could put it. Like every Brian Kelly team I've ever watched plays stiff, plays like they're almost inside of they're too pigeonholed on what they have to do. This team looked fun. They looked aggressive. They were flowing around. They even looked like they had some attitude. Brian Kelly was tossing up and down the sideline. I'm like, you're a human piece of garbage, but dude, yeah, coach, man, go for it.
Guy, but let's go.
Yeah, give my boy Matty some wins, man. He's hurting. His NFL team ain't going to do jack for the next decade. Might as well have his college team do something.
So I watched this game very intently as an NFL team fan who will not be named, who is definitely going to be in need of a quarterback market within about 6 months. Really is in need of one right now, but we can't draft today. So I watched this one intently with both of these guys, and the quick conclusion I drew from both of them is I figured out the problem with Cade Klubnik. I figured it out. Why some people love him, some people hate him. You know who he is? He's Carson Wentz before Jadeveon Clowney scrambled his brains. Yeah. There is a lot of good there where you're like, wow, that's amazing. That's a top. Then he does something like when he threw that one falling down when he was actually sacked. It's like, what are you doing? There's just a little bit too much of that. So he's Carson Wentz with brains, which is maybe a touch less. And then Garrett Nussmeier's QB1. The way he operates at the line. He does all those. I know he was only throwing screens and dinks and dunks. I know it's dinks and dunks. I know it wasn't pretty. There was nothing extravagant. The full control was out of there. In Death Valley week 1 with 95,000 people screaming how they want you to die against that defense with 3 top 10 picks on it, controlled the game throughout the way. So Nussmeier's QB1 in my opinion, draft-wise. Cade's a first-round guy, but buyer beware. Buyer beware.
Indianapolis Colt, Garrett Nussmeier?
Oh, don't threaten me with a good time. You know what he's going to do with Tyler Warren and Josh Down? Don't threaten me with a good time, man.
You don't like Pittman at that point.
What was that?
Even Pittman and Pierce, too.
Pittman, Pierce, even if A.D. Mitchell gets it. Oh, Lord, don't threaten me with a good time. When in doubt, just get behind Quentin Nelson. Oh, Lord. I'm going to need a moment now.
And the ball to JT. Yeah, we know. Listen, we know, DJ. I'm pulling for you. Listen, I think the Colts, these Irsay sisters are literally trying to run this team through a cheese grater this season just to make sure they get the number 1 or 2 pick. They want to make sure of it because I think Daniel Jones is going to be terrible. They're going to try to see if they can work a deal to get rid of Anthony Richardson, and then you're going to get a Garrett Nussmeier or a Cade Klubnik drafted 1 or 2, and it's just going to be.
The girls know ball, and they know what they need. They know what needs to be done. They saw him operate on the sideline. They saw him operating at the line, and they're like, yeah, that's our guy. Cade's pretty good, but buyer beware. There's obviously some of the other guys, too. I like Drew Aller. I want to wait and see him play. I want to see him play, not Nevada first.
Aller's ceiling is Sam Darnold.
I like the idea of him and Tyler Warren for fun, but you take what you can get. We'll see. But right now, for me, Garrett Nussmeier's QB1. LSU is dangerous. LSU is dangerous because that defense looked like an LSU defense.
I think the SEC has 3 very good teams. Everyone's talking about how the Big Ten is the dominant conference. It's like, yeah, you have Ohio State and Penn State look good, but Michigan looked okay. Oregon it's Oregon. They're not really playing anybody intensely. I think both teams are up there. I think the big I'll even put listen, let's be honest right now, because we're about to mention 3 ACC teams and 1 6-pack, which is crazy. the ACC, I think, is still the second tier, but you have the Big Ten, the SEC, ACC, 30 feet of crap, the Big 12, the Mountain West, everything else. I think the ACC, because of Clemson, Miami, and FSU, at least for now, and then you also throw in SMU, who, when they play a legit team, they're going to smoke whoever they play. That's 4 teams that are legit. So
I'm going to stop you there. It's only like 15 feet of crap because I think Iowa State is actually pretty good. I think they're.
Yeah, I will admit I was very disappointed in how, I like K-State. Iowa State, though, should have smoked them, and it was such a close game. And
K-State nearly lost this week, too. Kansas is interesting with
Jalen
Daniels.
What happened to Avery Johnson? Looks like half of the player who was last year.
He lost his gangster, it feels like. I don't know how else to describe it. It just feels like
he got cut his hair off. That's what it's going to be. I don't know.
He's got to come with a mohawk or something. He's got to mix it
up.
Maybe
do the Viking braids. Do some crazy stuff.
Imagine if he does a Derrick Henry braid. Just a really thick.
Or even like a Bijan Robinson braid. Just go nuts, King.
He does that, then I retract that Kansas State is back.
I'm more disappointed in SMU beating Texas A&M Commerce by only 29 when the spread was like 50 plus.
Yeah. Okay. So I wasn't the old. I mean, did they pull their guys early? What was the issue?
No, it was 21-3 at half. 28.
Oh, so they weren't moving the ball. Oh, they must have. Nate, if they don't blow a bad team out next week, then we'll have something. But it's week 1.
Yeah, listen, they allowed 351 yards to, like I said, Texas A&M Commerce.
Yeah, I know. All right, we got to move on, though. Sorry. We got to talk about a 4th ACC team today. Tech, South Carolina. Beamer ball is alive and well in this game. Virginia Tech, they're not going to win more than 5 or 6 games, but they play a nasty brand of football, man. Oh, God, I don't want to play them on a Friday. Whew. Everything, a safety. They got some good receivers. They play scrappy. They run the football. I'm they're not going to win. Like I said, they're going to be a barely in the bowl game kind of team. But hell, they're going to give every team they play hell this year. It's kind of sad they can't get the recruits they used to get. But damn, dude, they play mean, nasty football. South Carolina, though, they got the best athletes. They just Lenore Sellers is as good as advertised, man. He is a freak, and he's only going to get better as the season goes on with the new weapons. I'm whoo, okay, that's a sleeping giant right there. And the thing is, they have all these young guys on both sides of the ball, and they got explosive speed on special teams now. There's a bunch of crazy stuff in South Carolina. There's a lot, and also when you got Beamer showing up in South Carolina gear for his kid, you knew the game was over. So
it was a wrap at that point. I think Virginia Tech's. I'm trying to think of a good way to describe this without getting us canceled here. If we were getting into a fight, they're like a Chihuahua cranked up on crack. They're not going to win the fight, but they're going to take a pound of flesh out of in that fight. In that dog fight, they're going to take a pound out of the leg.
That is the most on point analogy I could ever hear in my life. Holy crap!
Brutal. They're not going to win, but it's going to hurt. You're going to South Carolina's clearly they're the big Great Dane in this one. You knew South Carolina was going to win, but it hurt. They're limping a little bit today. Stewart at defensive end is still ridiculous. He's a future top 10 pick. Lenoris is a freak. South Carolina's going to be in the playoff hunt for sure. Tech's going to ruin somebody's life at some point this year. I don't know who it is, but they're going to ruin somebody.
Tech, Leroy Jenkins this weekend, and they basically kept it close for half the game. I was I was impressed. I looked at the score. I was at dinner with a couple of people, with a couple of family members. I'm that's not supposed to be the score right now.
Kyron Jones is the ultimate. Yes. Oh no, guy at quarterback. He'll make.
I love him. He's like cousins of Cam. He's Cam Ward's cousin. That still cracks me up.
That is hilarious. You can see the similarities in how they play, but what you can see the difference between one is Cam Ward and one is not.
Cam Ward has my favorite story about Cam Ward. I heard this quick side story. There's a pro scout evaluating him, and he shows up in Miami. He just wants to see the kid where he goes. He's watching Cam Ward. He goes, dude, he looked like Ward Moon out there just slinging the rock a mile down the field, and it's zipping. And he goes, what idiot undervalued this guy that he had to go back to the college football? I'm the idiot who got him the first overall pick instead of being a 4th-round pick. Listen, everything happens for a damn reason, man. And Cam Ward is now the Titans' savior, allegedly. So, we'll see. We talked about any thoughts on Tech, South Carolina?
Thank God for Nick Harbor. That's all I'm gonna say.
There you go.
Freak too.
He's
All I
fast.
gotta say about this is, Fran, what up? Joey Aguilar looked great. I hate
He did.
Syracuse. Yeah, but that was good. Now can they lose by 8 more games? Great. Last but not least, the title of the show. Probably one of the most entertaining games I watched all weekend.
Yay!
Oh,
DJ, you feel better. Yeah.
What a game, boss.
Dude, you know what my favorite part is? I watched, so this game is the reason why I'm running on 3 hours of sleep right now. I was so amped after the game. I'm like, I have to get up at 5 a.m. tomorrow. I don't care. And I'm like, this game is totally worth it right now. Carson Beck was so emotional on the sideline, and the take I keep hearing is it looks like he loves football again. And I'm like, I love hearing takes like that. I love hearing people because I love the sport of football. We all love the sport of football. And to hear players like fall out of love with the game, like you heard it with Nick Foles when he was in with St. Louis with the Rams after he got traded by Chip Kelly. He's about to retire. You've heard it with other players who've at the peak of their game calling it quits, one being obviously Tiki Barber. And you see this in college, it's even scarier when they lose love for it. And Beck, dude, yesterday the anticipation was back. It looked like 2023 Beck, but with more polish. Yes, okay, he has some gunslinger mentalities that give me heebie-jeebies, but honestly, I had to deal with Cam Ward throwing the ball across his body half the time last year anyway, so it's nothing new. Dude, he looked like a new man again, and it was kind of fun to see that, and he was getting emotional on the sideline. I'm like, you know what? I know you're not well-liked. I'm rooting for you now, buddy. You made a fan of me. So you know what? Let's go, because I was not a Carson Beck fan any stretch. Everyone knows that. Everyone listening to the show knows when he was at Georgia, I was crapping on the kid all day. He won me over this offseason and today. Or yesterday. So I'm a fan. Notre Dame's play calling, though, was abysmal. Jeremiah Love, 4 carries in the first half. Like, why?
Why?
Yeah. Like what? I think his total carries was under 15 or something like insane like that. Like
14 total touches. Yeah.
Yeah. He's the best running back in the country, maybe besides Singleton from Penn State. But dude, he got out touched in the first half by Jordan Lyle, our second string halfback, who we realized wasn't really useful against Notre Dame's All-Outs. We put in the kid from North Dakota State, who was a battering ram with legs, and him and Mark Fletcher combined for 160 plus yards against this top-ranked Notre Dame defense. Oh, Carson Beck didn't throw a pick. I think it was 59 or 60% completion percentage, no interceptions, and 2 awesome catches. And we may have seen the newest freshman phenom receiver in Malachi Toney. Yes, he's Kadarius Toney's little brother. Unlike young Joka, he doesn't have a rap career. He just wants to smoke defenders instead. Dude, there's a lot to like Miami, but dude, my favorite part, that pass rush was Ruben Bain and the boys were getting home every other play. It looked like vintage, like old hate Miami back when they had like Jerome McDougal, Warren Sapp, even like you can go back as far as like going back to the days with like Ray Lewis when they had those defenses, Ed Reed's teams with Vince Wilfork. They were getting home. And on the last drive, poor CJ Carr could not do anything. I was bewildered. I was like, dude, these guys are getting in there. It looked like the best way I could word it, it looked like the Eagles in 2024 playoffs. So just they were in the backfield every time. There was nothing Notre Dame could do. And Notre Dame's offense is supposed to be highly touted, especially in the trenches, and they just getting bullied on both sides of the ball. I got to give credit. Miami came out ready to fight. They're a hard team to play at home, especially against a big opponent. Everyone makes jokes about Miami not being a good away, kind of an easy away spot, unless it's a ranked team. So I got to give Mario and Carson their flowers, man. Their season ended so rough last year, and Carson Beck's season ended so bad, and then they meet, and they made it work, and so far, so good. So I give it props. To Notre Dame, I don't think they're a playoff. If they're a playoff team, they're bottom seed, like 12th or 11th. I still think they make it because of their branding and who they are, who their head coach is, who the players they have on the roster. But they have a problem. They basically have to go to Arkansas in a few weeks. They have A&M next week. I believe they have USC at the end of the season. All 3 of those teams are losable if they play the way they played against Miami. Because Miami played like crap the game. 3 blown drives, missed kicks. Miami should have beaten them by another 21 points. They butchered 3 drives in a row, missed opportunities, blown coverages. Both teams look sloppy, but Miami got their crap together when it mattered. So that's the best way I can summarize this.
I'm going to give Carson Beck his shout out too, because while I'm not the biggest fan of his as a projection, I think that first touchdown pass was great. The rolling to the left, dropping to the bucket, he did all the right things. That we have the catch of the year so far, arguably. I still hate that. I hate that throw though. You can't ever make that throw again, just because if that safety is looking to Sean Taylor instead of go for a pick, we have a dead guy on the field. So I need Carson Beck to not throw that one again. It resulted in the play of the day, but I don't ever want to see it again.
That might be catch of the year nominee.
Catch of the year so far, early nomination. Never want to see never want to see Carson Beck throw that again.
I showed it to my parents this morning because my parents they root for Miami adjacent, like obviously because me. So I showed it to them today, and they're both like, what? Like that's incredible. Like even like the still shot of him going like this, like it looks even cleaner than Odell Beckham's. It looks almost like out of a video game. It doesn't look real. I was in shock. My face. My cousins were watching the game with me. And my face is frozen. I'm like, and I didn't say anything for about 30 seconds. And I'm like, I can't believe he's scored. Like the Malachi Tony touchdown or the rushing touchdown at the end of the third quarter, I'm like jumping and yelling. That CJ Daniels touchdown, I'm like,
Medusa, like frozen like Medusa. How incredible that was.
Oh, by the way, there was multiple times where basically Notre Dame would commit a pass interference because the kid out of their kick returner from BYU, whose name is killing me. I can't remember his name right now. Had smoked their corner, their top guy over the top. So he would just tackle him to keep him in, which, by the way, college football, make it a spot foul because the 15-yard penalty is just rewarding teams for tackling receivers. I hate that. I really do.
I'm going to also complain a little bit about Notre Dame's offensive play calling. Jeremiah, I love how he touched the ball one time through like 3 drives or whatever it was as an embarrassment. You have a first-year starting quarterback on the road in a ridiculous hostile environment in a place where it is raining
with an insane pass rush,
and you don't give Jeremiah the ball consistently. You just keep throwing these same screens over and over and over again. Look exactly the same. You have an elite playmaker just getting the ball. He had more hurdles than catches yesterday, which is just blasphemous. That shit.
I thought that was a joke stat, and then I actually watched the tape on YouTube, and they're like, "Yeah,
he went airborne the whole time." I think I like CJ Carr. I think all things considered, he played very well considering the situation put him. They tried to turn him into Riley Leonard at points. He handled it. I thought the interception clearly wasn't his fault. What's he supposed to do when the receiver gets blown back by the defensive back by 30 yards and it bounces?
I mean, that screen pass should have not been called. Miami sniffed it out immediately.
Exactly.
There was one Notre Dame podcaster who was like, "Why are we keep throwing screen passes? They have it pinned. They got us. Like you can't run this again."
You did that early, set something up off of it. Don't keep going back to the well. So I think Chris Carr will be fine. I think Notre Dame will be fine. Like we'll see if they're a playoff team, but I like Carr. I think he's an answer long term for them.
I
like
think
a lot of
Carr is going to be a phenomenal quarterback in 2 years.
Exactly, and I think especially when they're not so dependent on the Riley Leonard battering ram in their playbook, they still haven't quite washed that away. As you could tell, they're like, 15 dive. Oh wait, shoot, okay, too late. Or 13 dive, and
okay. XZ bootleg or what like skinny white bootleg. We're gonna I'm like he can't run like Riley Leonard. Oh crap. Okay.
Like Tebow. Oh wait, we don't have that shoot. Well, he's
more like Chris Lee. Yeah. It was a great way to start my day. Was waking up and seeing all the Notre Dame fans crying this morning. The team itself, I'm very happy for how they played. I think Notre Dame played very well. They were a worthy opponent. They played great. Their fans, I'm drinking their tears. This is literally Notre Dame tears right now. It's not a double IPA. What?
Why do their tears look like very dehydrated Tinkle? What are they crying?
I mixed it with some pineapple juice.
Okay, I was like, you got to be clear next time on that. I was like, what kind of tears are you getting? What's wrong with these people? Where are you finding them?
Well, I let them sunbake a little bit too. It's oh my God, every video. I think I got on TikTok. I sat down on the couch earlier, and I literally was on TikTok like 11 o'clock this morning before I went for my run, and I'm literally just like scrolling, and it's just betting apps, Notre Dame podcast, college football experts, all slamming Notre Dame, and I'm like, wait for it. And then you look at the comments. Can we get an update? That's my favorite comment on all of social media when they have an airmail take like this. See, I'm just a big mouth, and I understand I'm going to miss about half the takes I shoot off. But the way some of these guys were talking about how this game was going to go, like, oh, yeah, Notre Dame's going to win by like 60. I'm like, what?
2 top 10 teams in week 1. No one should be making proclamations. Nothing is set in stone.
In a perfect executed world, Miami probably wins by 35. Like, they made a lot of mistakes in that secondary. There's a lot. You can tell the communication issues in the new defense. They're still getting there. The pass rush is good to go. Ruben Bain and the fellas, Akeem Mesidor, they're there. They're good to go. Xavier Lucas and the boys in the back end, they got a little work to do. OG Federic, who is our only bright spot last year in the secondary, got smoked on double moves twice. It wasn't a great start. I think this is why I like the tune-up game next week. I believe against Bethune Cookman. That'll definitely help us get ready for South Florida, and then, of course, Florida, and then Florida State. So South Florida, by the way, looked great against BYU, Boise State. So, all right, that's college football. So, Nathan, any thoughts on Miami before we move out?
Nah, straight game. It's good to see Carson Beck do really good, man. I'm really happy for him. I really am.
Shout out to Nate, by the way, for calling me at midnight. I'm literally laying in bed. Nate's calling me. He's like, boss, you did it. I'm like, dude, I love you, man. I'm not even in my own house right now. I'm answering the phone. I love you, but, like, we got to chill. Like, I got to be quiet, all right? I appreciate you calling, bro. I really do. But I'm like, damn, Nate, I want to be hyping, screaming and shit. Like, Nate called me after the Super Bowl for the same thing, and I was losing my mind. This one I had to be quiet because I'm in my aunt's house, and I'm like, don't want to be disturbing nobody. So, all right. That being said, we're about to disturb the peace. It's NFC football preview. Here we go. Go Birds. All right, so the NFC East. We've done the football previews. We've done every conference in the college football. We've done every NFL division. Last but not least, we're talking NFC East today. We only had one division today because we knew between me and Nate and obviously the Cowboys and the Commanders, there was going to be so much to talk about today. But to keep time constraints in, we only have one of each. We only have one of each representing Eagles and Giants, and DJ is a neutral third party, which is great. So you can be kind of less biased because, I mean, the NFC East, there's not really a way not to be biased against a team in that division because I think it's the most hater. It is the most toxic division in pro sports.
I'm across the board hating. I'm a 4 for 4 hater, not a 3 out of 4 hater like you guys. I'm a 4 for 4.
Case in point, it is the most toxic division in pro sports. It is worse than the SEC. It is worse. Oh, that's college. It is worse than the NFC. In the NFL, it's worse than the NFC North. I mean, the AFC North. Not sorry. 80% of your division is not going to make the playoffs this year. It's worse than the AFC West, the NFC South. This is the most toxic because it's the only division in the entire league where it's a recognized rivalry between every single team and every single division. I think maybe Commanders and Giants might be the only you're kind of pushing it. But like Eagles and Commanders hate each other. Cowboys and Commanders, that's one of those rivalries. We're going back to the 30s.
All three hate the Cowboys. Like everybody
three are Cowboys are rivals with all three of them. It's like the Giants and Commanders. There's kind of like, hooray! It's like we're both getting talked about. It's like, but like the Giants and Eagles, oh my God! Like I got raised on that rivalry. That rivalry is insane. And then Eagles Cowboys, that's baptism by fire, man. Like we're about to see it in 2 days. We're going to talk about it in the Korner Booth pregame in 3 days. I'm ready. Like I said in the pregame show, I'm gonna be bumping DMX. What's my name? Our playoff anthem the entire day. I'm gonna get some weird stares. Gonna be barking like a dog. I'm ready. So that being said, we got to talk about the elephant in the room. Jerry Jones' ego. The Dallas Cowgirls. And DJ, we talked about this. I did say this on the show when you were on. My bold take of the season was once Micah Parsons was the linchpin for the Jerry Jones folding in the Cowboys. I'm sticking to my guns and I'm banging my war drum and my victory drum because I'm telling you right now, Dallas is going to score a lot of points this year, but they're all going to lose by way more because their defense now is a overpaid Deron Bland, a guy who gets smoked on double moves and Teron Diggs, me and Nate playing safety, and then I think the ghost of Kelsey Coyne playing nose guard for them. I don't know anybody on this defense anymore. I had to look today because besides Bland, the kid from Boston College, and
Trevon as a Rocco.
Trayvon Diggs. Yeah, as Rocco. I didn't want to butcher his name again. I don't know anybody in this roster. I think they have this one freak nature linebacker, but isn't he always injured? Number 0, whatever his name is.
They got he's already out, I believe. Like
he's already out.
Overshawn. Yeah, Overshawn.
Yeah, Overshawn. Yeah, because I think his cousin, or at least they have the same last name. I don't want to call them cousins. Because he has the same last name as the running back from South Carolina. That's why the name kind of pinged in my head. But dude, like I don't know anybody in this defense, and it's not like the Seahawks defense in 2012 where it was a bunch of like perfectly scouted players. It's duct tape, spit, and paper mache keeping you from scoring touchdowns. With 2 nice Lamborghinis on the outside.
Cowboys are weird to me because I really liked the roster. I thought they were a 10-win team before they traded Micah because I presumed that was going to get figured out. Like I like a lot of those young guys like Ezra Rocco. I think Jack Sanborn's nice. I do think I'm looking at different guys like Perion Winfrey, Solomon Thomas, Overshown. I like Siobhan Ravel coming in at corner. Going with Kyrie Elam, I think they have depth at corner. So when someone inevitably gets hurt, they can actually survive it. I still like Malik Hooker back there. When he's healthy. I like the wall of Tylers. I think that's very interesting. I think it in front of Dak, that's just hilarious. George Pickens with CeeDee Lamb makes a lot of sense. Devontae Turpin afterwards, Jalen Tolbert, Jake Ferguson. They're 3 deep at running back. They're going to rotate them. I still think the Cowboys can be surprisingly good, but in the same vein, I'm going to stick to my guns, but I'm not happy about it. I said they'd be a 10-win team. I want to stick with it, but I'm not going to do it happily. I'm going to be mad about it because they did it the hard way. If they do win 10 games, it's going to be complete and utter BS. But I hate the Micah trade. It was stupid. It was asinine. It was egotistical. You basically traded away Khalil Mack for less than what Khalil Mack got traded away for.
It was Jerry Clark.
And unless you get a Kenny Clark 2021 flashback or something like that, 2022 flashback, that might ease the pain a little bit. Maybe a Dante Fowler Jaguars throwback, a Kenneth Murray Oklahoma throwback. Like there's a lot of concerns. I do like the offense. I do think Schottenheimer is going to do some good things on offense. I don't know about a head coach, but offensively they'll be fine. I want to stick with my guns in the same way because I did like a lot of things where I had them as a potential 10-win team, but I don't like it. Not without Mike. It's a lot harder now. Because when I said that they were going to have Mike, and now I'm like, they better hope that he was really a problem in that locker room. If that's the case, then I can see it, but I don't believe it.
So my biggest thing with the Cowboys, one of our listeners, shout Ralph, by the way, he texts me every other day about NFC East stuff. He's a big Giants fan. Me and him used to work together. Champ Sports, baby, right, DJ?
Oh, the PTSD is strong.
No, listen, I'm about to get myself some Gamma 11s because of this connection, so I'm good. All right, you know what? Like my favorite Jordans are coming back in stock. By the way, I went to a Nike outlet for the first time in 10 years yesterday just to get some like kind of like nicer like going out shoes that are not as over the top as my Jordan collection. The Nike outlet on a Sunday is like Mad Max Fury Road. More at 11. So I look at the Cowboys. My biggest thing, I think the biggest contribution Micah Parsons gives to your defense, besides his freak talent, is the intimidation factor in knowing you have to know where he is on the field at all times. And you have to over-scheme to protect against him. My first recollection, I remember 2022, everyone's talking about how Micah and the Cowboys team was going to shut down Jalen Hurts to the Eagles. What did the Eagles do? They literally ran bump and run zip routes with A.J. Brown. They literally just had him fake a chip block on Micah, run a whip route. Jalen rolls out, dumps over the top. He can't do anything about it, and he's taken out of the play. It's like how they used to run directly at Aaron Donald when the Eagles used to own the Rams. Because, you know, Sean McVay, we live in your head rent free. Anyway, it's the same concept where they go at him to take him out of the play. And with Micah, you always have to over-scheme. Like some teams can't execute that correctly, and that's where Micah Parsons' greatest value is, because now you have to put two guys on him. That's going to leave a Tank Lawrence open for a sack. That means you're going to have to sacrifice guys running downfield, which is going to allow Diggs to jump a route or Bland to make a great interception. I like the Kenneth Murray acquisition. Solomon Thomas is also a solid player, but it's a lot of the land of misfit toys. Their running backs and their defense are very much like duct tape and a muscle car. You don't know if it's going to hold together. It might be fun for a couple weeks. Like they may win 6 or 7 games, but I don't trust them long-term if I'm a gambler trying to bet on their over-under, because I don't trust anything on that defense, on that team, except for CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, to put up numbers, and Jerry Jones to make an ass of himself every time he puts himself on the microphone. That's basically it. Like, my favorite clip I saw was Jerry Jones talking on the microphone about how he's going to flip these draft picks for a premier player. And it's like the whole clip from Family Guy where Peter Griffin is literally saying, yeah, it could be anything. It could even be a boat. Peter, just take the boat. No, but it could be a boat. I'll take the box. It's like I lose. You know what? I actually am starting to really like sympathize with Cowboys fans. Cowboys aren't even the team I hate the most in the NFL anymore. They've dropped down to 2. It's the Commanders are number 1. Like I still hate Frankie Louvo with a burning passion. I want to fight the guy personally for him taking cheap shots at Jalen Hurts. I respect him as an athlete, but also like I want to defend my boy QB1. There's a lot of things about the Cowboys. It's become more of a, Dallas. Like, you kind of feel bad now. You're like, because then the Cowboys like, it's our year, man. It's like, buddy. I don't know if you ever seen the
same Cowboys fans. I feel bad for the Cowboys fans at the brain. The Weed and Boys guys, I don't care about them whatsoever. But the same ones,
the ones who were saying the Cowboys, the Eagles got lucky because the Cowboys were all banged up. I was like, bro.
Like we don't count those ones.
We killed everybody.
We don't count those people from all the fan base. Like, they're not humans, especially the Weed and Boys.
Like, listen, I don't even talk to those Eagles fans. Those Eagles fans scare me. They're the ones who like bite people's heads off and throw snowballs at Santa Claus.
The reason they lube up the poles after a win so no one could climb up the electric.
Hey. I may or may not have attempted to climb one of those at the victory parade. I'm not going to say I didn't or I did because,
Okay,
I looked at one. I sized it up. I looked at it, and I was like, it's 21 degrees outside. I am 12 beers down, and I am hungry. I'm not doing this.
Well, look, at least you have the rational skills to come to that conclusion. I'm talking about the guys who will do that after a week 2 victory over.
No. It was me and our boy, Mr. Chris Lipoff, sitting next to me. I'm looking at this moment. No, not doing it.
Good on you too, because I know with Chris the influence is very likely to happen. If you had a jetpack, you were up there.
My favorite was trying to get the 2 of us out of this party in South Philly to get us back to his house in North Philly, which was hilarious. It was like trying to herd sheep. It's like, come on, Chris. And I'm also a little inebriated as well. I'm like, come on, buddy, be right now. It's we're going on adventure.
Holding a treat out, trying to chase him. We're like, come here, little one, come on.
No. It was more like our Uber driver had like a cracked windshield and like had a barely running Sonata. We're like, we're getting it. Mm-hmm. And her car smelled like cats and moldy cigarettes. It was disgusting. Because that smell sobered me up so fast.
That'll get you in the gear real quick.
I was like, I want a cheesesteak. Well, I mean, meat, protein, and carbs to kind of cheese, protein, and carbs to kind of sober yourself up a little bit. Anyway, speaking of sobering feeling, it's time to talk about the New York Giants. No, sorry.
No. It's fine. Do you have
anything you want to talk about the Cowboys? Do you have anything you want to talk about the Cowboys?
I'm just concerned about their running back room. Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders would look good if it was like a few years ago, not now.
It's a Green Day lyric. It's called the Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
Yeah, that's like a concern for me. So I'm and what's it called? The draft pick of Jaden Blue is intriguing. The running back from Texas. So we'll see if he can get the starting job maybe down the line. I don't know, but offensively they look okay. Just defensively,
they should be fun. Like take the over.
I mean, it's just
Southwest.
Yeah, we'll see. What the pass rush could do. Like obviously, like we talked about last week, boss. Like there's no replacing Micah Parsons, but you could try to do your best as you can. And Dante Fowler had double-digit sacks last year. Azuraku had 16.5 in his last season in college, so maybe those two could do their best. But other than that,
yeah,
I don't got anything. They might have the worst defense in the East. Maybe.
Yeah, no, they will. Because the next thing we're talking about might be the best pass rush I've ever seen for a team that's not going to even make the Super Bowl. Holy crap. And I love talking to Giants fans because I get 3 answers. I get the Nate answer, which is we're going to be dangerous. We're going to have a great pass rush, and we're probably going to win a lot of close games because of that pass rush. I'm like, could see it. Then we have we're going to the Super – dude, we're back, playoff, we're doing this. And I'm like, are you smoking something? Like, what the hell? And then the last one is we're not completely effed, but the Russell Wilson signing made no sense. Which is the majority one I get. A lot of them were like, why are we bringing in a guy who literally unraveled after 6 weeks in every single place he's been at since Seattle? You can ask Denver fans, you could ask Seattle fans, you could ask now, of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers, now the Giants. The Giants are going to learn. The biggest thing I've learned, at least with Russell Wilson, is he's never going to be the reason you guys win 3 or 4 games, but he might be the reason you lose 3 or 4 games. Because he was playing okay. They march into Philadelphia and they get their head kicked in. And it wasn't even on the scoreboard. It was like the physicality of the game. They had to knock Saquon Barkley out of the game for a suspected knee injury that never happened. And Philly still just was like, hey, Kenny Gainwell, you're just going to run through these guys for about 20 minutes. Okay, bet, done. And if I look at the Giants right now, they have the best pass rush I've seen on paper. We're going back to the 2017 with Strahan, Kiwanuka, Umenyiora. Well, no, Kiwanuka, I don't think, Justin Tuck was, I think, younger on that team too. Yeah, we're talking like the most overpowered, like, edge rusher of all. Yeah, insane of all time. And even the tackles were mean bastards too. So, but like Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, and that schmuck with the one move, Thibodeau. I'm a Kayvon Thibodeau truther. I think he's the most overrated edge rusher in the league. Who was it?
Well, you have to be talked about a lot to be overrated. He's not really talked about, so you can't.
Well, I mean, I watch a lot of tape on edge rushers because the position I played, and I actually enjoy watching technique and right. And he has one move. There's a reason he's not basically had more than 8. Yeah, he rips. It's basically it. And like you look at guys like T.J. Watt, Von Miller, even you can go as young guys like Nolan Smith, down to Micah Parsons, over to the kid over in who's the young kid over in opposite of Crosby. He's got the kid in Las Vegas is pretty good.
Tyree Wilson?
Yes. I like his moveset a little bit. Not a lot, but I like it a little bit. I look for differential moves. I like guys who are kind of Jared Verse is one I can think of. Jared Verse is the key pick here. I like guys who have 4 different. They can hit you with literally the X, the circle, the B, or the A button. They don't need you to just we're gonna rip every time. We're gonna get underneath you. It's like, oh no, I'm gonna spin move you this time. I'm gonna get underneath you and go. I'm gonna try to beat you off with speed. You can't out athletic people in the NFL. Guys like Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata and Trent Williams, Tristan Wirfs, right tackle for the Lions, whose name is escaping me right now. Penei Sewell. Yeah, like guys, those freak athletes that exist. But I think the Giants have a great. I like their cornerback. They're starting their number 1 corner now. I like the Newman, the safety. Holland. Why I say Newman? Newman's their other safety.
Newman. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Newman's their other safety. Holland and Newman, I like. Their number 2 corner spot kind of scares me a little bit.
Correct.
Linebackers are, but you know what? It's not a bad defense. The problem is your offensive line is mid at best. You only have one legit scary weapon. I'd put Tyron Tracy as a semi-scary weapon. Like if he gets going and runs for like 110 yards, then yes, you have a problem. But the only guy in the offense who scares me is Blake Neighbors. And I'm just going to be like, oh, hey, Quinion, go shut him down for a game. Okay?
Or DeJean, depending on your choice.
No. We're just going to have Quinion fall me the entire game. Like, hey, kid, do what you did last time you played him. Okay, got it, done. And go just take it out of the game. And listen, this is why it's going to be fun. For the next 10 years, Nate, we're going to have Quinion versus Malik, and I'm ecstatic to this rivalry. I poured beer in the middle of my floor because the can I poured legit was dripping down the back of the can. I'm like, this is what the physics is happening right now. So just stepped in beer, and I'm like, what? Why is it wet? So that's happening. Apparently this beer can has a hole in the bottom or something. So whatever. The Giants to me though, I think truly my heart of hearts, I think they're a 7-10, 8-9 team, and they're going to be a mean. They're basically Virginia Tech. We were talking about before. Mean, nasty. Everything's going to hurt. You're going to play them. You're going to play the Giants. You're going to beat them. But then you're going to play like a team like the Rams or a team like the Jaguars or like the freaking Colts or the Titans the next week, and you're almost going to lose because the Giants beat the crap out of you so bad. That's their kind of role this year. I think next year, if they can develop Dart and then keep him off the damn field until week 13 or 14, they're a playoff team next year. I think this year is the year you take your lumps, you get better. The best analogy, I always talk about the 2016 Eagles because the team had a lot of fun. There was a lot of promise. They started off 4-0. Everyone was getting all hyped. They had a lot of holes to fill. They had a lot of things they had to change, but they got their lumps and they developed Wentz. They developed that edge rush. They got some team chemistry. They brought in the outside guys to fix all the edges on the corners and the receivers, the safeties, and they win a Super Bowl. I'm not saying the Giants can win a Super Bowl, Nate, but I'm saying they could be a playoff contender next year because of them building around Dart, building around this edge rush, and developing that team that way. That's my point here. I'm done talking. Nate, you're the Giants fan here.
Yes. Nah, look, everything you said is perfectly valid, and you make a good point. Like everyone talks about the pass rush, right? And by the way, I won't go too in depth because I'll save that for my show. So
I feel like sucking banana every time you say that. By the way.
Well, no, because for time purposes, and I know DJ hasn't.
I mean, like give us a Cliff Notes version.
Okay, I got you. It's just like you talk about the pass rush, and it's like everyone talks about that, but it's like just because you have a good pass rush doesn't mean you have a good run defense. And this run defense is really, it's very concerning. Like,
unless your name is Saquon Barkley.
Well, oh no, yeah, I don't think anyone could run through us. Like in the preseason, we saw who's Buffalo's second string running back run through us. Braylon Allen was having his way with us.
Ray Davis.
It was the other one. I forgot, and I think it was Ray. No, it wasn't Ray Davis. It was another one. Regardless, if teams want to succeed against this defense, just run the ball. Until we show that we can stop the run defense is. Opponents will just torture our run defense. Otherwise, though, I love Carter. I love Burns as well on the edges. Tibbs, will see what he can do. Linebackers are, they're quietly solid. Okereke is a tackling machine. McFadden has thrived since Okereke has been there with him. Secondary is all right. CB2 spot is concerning. Of course, Cordell Fly is projected to start because Deontay Banks hasn't really done much to prove he deserves to be CB2. But
you guys airmailing on first round picks at corner, dude. I can't figure it out.
Yeah, we're not that great at picking.
DeAndre Baker.
Yeah, he's another. Well, he's thriving in the UFL.
Yeah, lesser competition makes you look better.
Exactly. But offensively, look, Russ. I'm excited to see what he can do. I know he's a guy that tends to flame out later in the year. But hey, look, if he can show he's better than what we had the past 6 years. So, I'm taking anything I can get. He can throw the deep ball we see in the preseason. Tracy and Scatterbull, we'll see how that timeshare works out. And I tell Brian this all the time and on our show as well. We don't talk about Malik Neighbors as much, but it's for good reason because we never need to worry about him. It's just the guys after him. A Slayton, a Robinson, a Hyatt, especially Hyatt. Oh my God, he frustrates the heck out of me. And then offensive line. Hey, all I asked for is mid-offensive line play. Andrew Thomas might not even play to start the year, which is kind of scary for week 1 against the Commanders. But otherwise, boss, look, hey, I told DJ pre-show, if 500 season is the most I could ask for, and I'd be a very happy camper.
So we're in similar boats.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm in the 500 boat all the way. I don't expect us to do anything more. If we do more, that's fantastic. If we do less, then I'm going to be Dark Side Nate for about most of the year.
I already put the banner in our file, by the way.
Yeah, I got you. Perfect.
Listen, if I get 7 or 8 of those weeks, I'll be happy. Deej, thoughts on the Giants, and then we'll move on to the commies.
Keep mine relatively quick. Defense, a lot to like there. Offensive line, if Andrew Thomas plays, that's a good offensive line group, I think. He is literally the kingpin for the grenade to bring back references. If he's there, if everything's fine. If he's gone, everyone gets destroyed. What's interesting is Jackson Dart is number 2 on the depth chart and Jameis is 3rd, which I thought was very interesting. So they might be – I see them if, let's say, Russ goes 0-4. They just can't quite get it to click. Russ isn't able to elevate, make it happen. I say go to Jackson Dart, and I can see their ceiling being maybe like the 2018 rookie Baker Mayfield Browns, where they're just really scrappy, win kind of a similar amount of games, just find a way to make things happen. I think that's kind of where I expect them to be. It's just very uniquely competitive. Russ, if he gets out of the gate going, maybe turns back the clock, maybe they're in contention for that wild card spot. It's like a 9-8 one if Russ can really manage the game while making plays without having to run 40 yards backwards, 40 yards forward like we used to see and ruin his offensive line.
Like CJ Carr against Miami.
Exactly. But within that actual designated pocket frame, then I think they could be interesting. But my guess is it's going to be a little sub 500. I think Jackson Dart coming in, the sooner he comes in, the better. The more likely it is it's a rookie Baker Mayfield season where it's surprisingly good and everyone's like, oh. Then we're going into next year and everyone's like, those Giants, they make like 2 offseason additions. They sign some expensive big name receiver. And Nate's like, we're so back, baby. Then they let you down. And then in a year from that, they suddenly surprise everyone with the playoff berth. They're the Browns after they drafted Baker Mayfield. They're on that trajectory. Just without getting rid of him stupidly.
Yeah, just like let's hope they don't finish like the Browns finished with Baker.
Without signing someone with a rap sheet at quarterback to replace him.
How short is the leash on Russ? If you don't mind me asking you both, how short is the leash on Russ?
I'd say back to back.
games.
I'd say 3 or 4 back-to-back games, like just bad.
Like 4 bad games, if not just 4 losses, but 4 bad games. Like if he plays well and they lose 4 in a row, then maybe they gets 5 or 6. But my opinion.
But I'm saying if he goes like 4-4,
And they're terrible.
they'll keep him. They won't put him in. I think at that if he keeps going like 500, it's like they're like kind of creeping around. They're still competitive, and if it depends on what the NFC. If they're if they're like 5-5 and they're a game out of the wild card, Dable might be like, maybe we'll sit Dart this year. We'll just kind of see what Russ can do. But if they're like 5 or 6 games back and there's no hope of making the playoffs, then yeah, it's Dart time. I think the other teams in the conference are going to kind of dictate when Dart comes in. I think it's more reasonable than us thinking, it's going to be Russ's play. Because Russ's play can be good, and they can still put him in if they're eliminated anyway. So, speaking of eliminated, because these teams was eliminated in the NFC playoff game, championship game last year, the Washington Commanders, the media darling team in the NFC this year, the oldest roster in the league by, I think, a year over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jay Niels is back, coming off a Rookie of the Year campaign. Looked great. They traded away Brian Robinson. Apparently, they're going to start Bill. His name, the running back they're starting.
Bill. Yep.
Ja'Cory. I cannot pronounce it.
Crosby.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. And him and Eckler, I guess, is the running back core now. Zach Ertz back for 7,000th season, his third as a trader. And, yeah, they got Terry McLaurin back on a deal. They made some offseason moves to try to load up to try to help out. But you know what? Honestly, my biggest concern for the Commanders is still that it's the defense. We know they can score. We know they can score fast and they can score quickly. But the biggest issue to me is that their pass rush is okay at best. Marshawn Lattimore is no longer the Marshawn Lattimore of New Orleans. He's now A.J. Brown III. Because he's AJ's kid. Then you also have the fact that the other half of their secondary, whether it's St. Juice, Forbes, or whoever, is just not that great. I don't hate their safeties. I think they play well. I love their linebacking core between Wagner and Frankie Louvu. They're a flawed team. I think their lack of their speed and athleticism on defense is going to kill them eventually. I have them at 10 wins. 7 losses. I think the unfortunate thing is they have a stacked schedule, and just like New York, they got better, but so did the other 2 good teams in the division. Philly got better. Philly stayed the same, if not got better. I think Philly got younger and more aggressive. Everyone's like, "Oh, CJ GJ." I'm like, dude, he's one bad grass pull from tearing something, and I was right. The only acquisition that hurt us the offseason was Josh Sweat. And I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised when J.Alex Hunt and Nolan Smith go ballistic this year. But I love the Josh Uche move for Philly, so we don't have to worry about that. In terms of the Commanders, they must really like this new running back out of Arizona. They must really love this kid a lot because Eckler's not an every down back. We know we're getting Daniels probably going to throw for 35 to 40 touchdowns, 5 to 10 interceptions. Scary Terry going to do another 1,200-yard year, 8 touchdowns. And they're going to score points. I think Debo is the fun part, though, because I think Debo's about to go ballistic for at least half the season because he's been hearing the entire offseason how he's fat, how he's a slob, how he's a loser. And now he's finally got free of San Francisco's whiny butts, and he's going to score points. So I think, and also Debo, the one guy San Francisco had that used to butcher Philly. So I think that was a very smart move in terms for the Commanders. I think their ceiling is 11 wins to me. I think the age of that defense is going to catch up with them eventually. It's not like the Rams in 2021 where they had speed to go with their age. I think the problem is they have some athletic talent on that defense, but they lack a lot in terms of just being able to cover sideline to sideline. They have a lot of holes in the secondary. I think this is what's going to end up killing them eventually because teams were more complete. The Philadelphias, the Detroits, the LA Rams, I think are just going to get them, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So yeah, that is my thoughts on the Commanders. DJ, thoughts?
I don't love the guys that they have on the 53-man roster when I look at it. They have 5 receivers, 4 tight ends, 4 running backs, and then like 8 or 9 offensive linemen. It's a very weird, and then 4 middle linebackers. They have a very weird set of guys that they kept on the 53, which throws me off. So I'm not sure how I feel about that unless they're going to use a lot of tight ends and running backs, which feels like it doesn't cater to Jaden Daniels and Cliff Kingsbury's skill set as well. So I'm a little nervous about them. I'm saying they're going to be bad. I think they'll be fine. I just don't think they'll recapture what they did last year. I had them at 9-8 as the 7th seed until the Micah Parsons trade. So I gave the Packers a win off of that, which gave them the 7th seed. So I have them being fine, 9-8, probably just missing the playoffs. I have Dallas being better. We agreed that the Giants are going to be better than they were last year. The Eagles are still going to be at least what they were last year. It's a tough road to follow up. They're going to see a lot of the same patterns that Cliff Kingsbury had last year and Jaden Daniels. It's going to be harder in year 2, and I feel like I'm not sure about Debo. He's going to open up those end rounds and some fun stuff here and there, but I don't know how much he's going to bring to the offense other than that. So they'll be fine. I'm not going to put him back in the NFC Championship game. I think they'll be fine though. Like even if they're somehow a little bit better, their competition's going to get a lot better too.
Fair. All right, Nate, thoughts on the commies?
Shoot, I don't know if Jaden Daniels will have a sophomore slump, but they rebuilt the offensive line for him this offseason. They added Debo, who's a good receiver number 2. Maybe we'll see flashes of what he used to be in SF, when he was kind of like a gadget guy, a running back and a receiver. Maybe they do that. Who knows? Especially with that backfield, like you mentioned, with Eckler and Little Bill. So we'll see what happens there. But hey, look, they're not gonna magically go back to the NFC Championship like you guys mentioned. But they will definitely be a wild card team because they just have a lot of talent. And when you have a quarterback like that who can just do both, pass and run, you're gonna be in good shape for quite some time. And it's nice to see, like, as a Commanders fan, like you went through so much like stuff in the past few years, and for them to kind of have this franchise quarterback, this new GM, this new head coach, and just changes the whole culture about everything. Yeah. As a whole, I should say, like it's nice to see. So it's gonna be a fun division to watch.
No, I agree. I look at the Commanders and I see a funner version of the 2024 Texans.
Yeah, that could work. Like
different pieces here and there that are lacking. Houston lacked offensive line, but they had good corners. And then some people have weapons, some don't. But I think Stroud, and I think he's going to have a very Stroud-esque year. He's going to be okay, but he's not going to make that Jalen Hurts Burrow leap where he's like, okay, Super Bowl bound. It's like, okay, we got to tamp it down a little bit. But I think the Commanders will go to a Super Bowl. I don't think they're going to win, but I think they'll go to a Super Bowl with him in the next 5 years. I think this kid is phenomenal.
He needs to eat a cheeseburger though. I need him.
I
need him to add a cheeseburger.
Every time he gets caught, dude, he got hit by. It was Moro Ajomo in the championship. I was like, oh, did we break him? Is he easy? Okay, good. Okay, thank God. Because I don't hate the kid. Like, I loved him at LSU, and I loved his story because like the ASU guys were awful to the kid. He goes to LSU, wins a Heisman, goes to the NFC title game in his first year. It's like, how y'all doing? Like it's. I love his story. So I can't root against the kid.
Absolutely. I wish when he got tackled, it didn't look like a Looney Tunes Acme TNT explosion every damn time. Because it almost like, even going back to LSU, when you get hit sticked, it's like he had a helicopter. I've limbs would fly everywhere, and I don't like it. I need him to get hit less or be thicker than a bowl of oatmeal.
And his mother's got to let him date Juju Watkins already. We all know this is the power couple we all want to see.
I'm taking that quarterback number 1 overall in 30 years.
Yeah, that kid. That's called the greatest. That's called the Captain America right there.
That's not the hero we want, but the hero we need.
Exactly. All right. Speaking of the heroes we need,
I don't know about that.
The defending 2024 Philadelphia Eagles, who prevented us from having to deal with a Chiefs three-peat, so they were the hero we needed. That was my point. But I know they're not the most liked team. I get it. My Birds are not the most loved. Fans are a little obnoxious. I'll say this about my Eagles. They reloaded at a lot of good positions. I even think one of the most underrated moves they made all offseason happened last week. They got Marcus Epps as a safety position at the safety position to add a little depth. Marcus Epps, obviously the starting safety on the 2022 Super Bowl team.
Headhunter.
To add to Andrew Makuba and to Sidney Brown and Reed Blankenship in that squad. I love their corners. I think the secondary corner position is going to be weird between Adoree Jackson and the kid. I think is it Burnett or Bennett from Las Vegas, as well as Burnett, and then Ringo. That 3-man trio. Somebody's going to have to step up as that corner. I think we're going to have a similar situation where last year we started with Vontae Maddox as the starter, the nickel. They finally figured out Cooper DeJean was the best one. They put him in. The defense lit it up. It looks like Jihad Campbell's going to start because Nakobe Dean's out until week 4 at least. So we're going to see Jihad Campbell and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. rotating, which is going to be interesting. They have the second best sideline linebacker in the league in Zach Bond. Elite defensive tackles and underrated and sneaky athletic edge rushers. That's just the defense. On offense, they have Super Bowl MVP, maybe the best running back in the league, the best receiving core, or at least the second best receiving core in the league. And now the addition of John Mechie, I think, adds a crafty kind of slot guy to go with Devontae Smith's blazing speed and route running, A.J. Brown's being good at everything, and Jahan Dotson being the best receiver cannon fodder of all time. I think this team's ceiling is obviously a Super Bowl. Their floor is buying major catastrophe is 11-6, second round exit, have a regression year. I think this team has a lot of talent. I think Nick Sirianni has a good culture. I think there's going to be some issues early with the new OC, with Jalen's plus style of play. I think we're going to get our usual, AJ Brown's a diva headline because I'm calling it by week 6, Nate. Write it down. Week 6, we're going to get a AJ Brown's a diva headline because I think the Philadelphia media hates him for some reason. I think Saquon's going to have a good year. I don't think it's going to be as good. Obviously, not as good as last year. I think last year, he took everyone by surprise. Now he's going to start packing the box. A lot more having to throw a ball. Jalen, I think a key piece to this, when we're talking about, is the backup running backs. I think the use of Will Shipley and A.J. Dillon as gadget guys, Dillon for short yardage, Shipley for swing routes and for kick returning and punt returning, I think is a key piece that Philly kind of lacked last year, explosiveness in a secondary guy. I love Kenny Gainwell, but for a guy who's as fast as he is, he doesn't really know how to get away from guys. I think Philadelphia is the best team in the NFC talent-wise, but because of their schedule and who they got to play, I think they'll be the second or third seed in the NFC at, I'd say, 13-4, 12-5. That's where I got them. And I think Jalen Hurts has another great year. There's probably going to be some drama this year because the NFL media can't live without drama in Philly. But obviously, ceiling Super Bowl floor, second round exit, wild card exit. So there you go.
I'll go fix it. I'll keep mine relatively short too. Defense, I'm really curious about which of some of those pieces. Like right now, Adoree Jackson's listed as a starting cornerback. I'm curious if they get the most out of him. That's a very talented corner when he's coming out of USC that hasn't quite hit his stride. So if they get the most out of him, that's going to be a lot of fun. Offensive line-wise, they not only are arguably the best in the league, they've been really healthy for last year, especially.
Dickerson's good to go, by the way.
Exactly. So I'm hoping they can if they can stay healthy throughout the year, that's going to be great. I always worry about offensive line injuries because there's always I remember with the Colts after 2019, 2020, that's a wall. Then things, unfortunately, offensive linemen are banging every play.
Looking like the Berlin Wall crumbling down.
Exactly. You go from a wall and the rest of the NFL is going to pay for it to rubble. So hopefully they can stay healthy. I do think, as you mentioned, Saquon's more likely than not going to get 2,000 rushing yards again in 16 games. Not saying impossible, but I'm just saying unlikely. So I'm curious.
He's got a better chance than anybody else in the league.
Anybody else that's had 2,000 before, for sure. So I'm curious how the offense adjusts. You mentioned new OC. Are they going to try and maybe throw to open up the run a little bit more? Maybe try and mix it up. Almost outsmart yourself, like some teams like to do a little bit. They almost overthink it in some cases. So
I think
that hurts them potentially. So I want to see how that works out for sure.
One take I heard, and then Nate, I want to hear your thoughts, is unlike 2018 the 2018 season where there was all this drama with the leadership and the quarterbacks and the running backs and everything else. Most of the core stayed intact. Howie Roseman kind of learned his lesson. Like, you put out the fires now. You don't let them spread. You haven't heard anything about Jalen in the AJ all season. The Darius Slay controversy with him calling Jalen not elite. He's been gone. CJGJ's off-field bullshit. They sent him to Houston. He's injured, unfortunately. They tried with Keon Green. They cut him because he was terrible. Big whoop. I think Howie's learning. That's scary for a lot of the league. He's learning from his mistakes in 2017 where he basically tried to leave everything the same and just kind of patch holes and run it back, and it wasn't the same. I think the chemistry of this team is what should scare teams because these guys actually genuinely like each other. And like the 2017 Eagles, it was a bunch of cliques that played together and won and then never liked each other ever again. I think this team's a little different where they actually have a team mentality, so it should be interesting there. Nate, thoughts on my Birds?
Oh, you guys are annoying to face, and that's good for Eagles fans. I think the main point I want to just get across today is the talk of Jalen Hurts not being a top 5 quarterback can finally end. Like, he's for sure a top 5. Look, his passing stats may not be the best compared to everyone else, but that doesn't mean he's not capable of doing it. Like, we've seen on multiple occasions. He can throw short passes. He can throw intermediate passes.
He outdid Mahomes in 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, he can make all the throws. It's just that sometimes they don't need him to because, and correct me if I'm wrong, you guys are kind of a run-first offense because you have Saquon and you have A.J. Dillon now back there with his humongous quads. And, of course,
we have the all-quad backfield.
Yeah, and, of course, Hurts can run with the ball too. So overall, look, I love Jalen Hurts as an NFL fan. I hate him as a Giants fan because he's just so difficult to face. And you make a good point. You guys retooled. Of course, you got to let some veterans go like Sweat and Milton Williams, and CJ2K. But you guys added guys like
DJ, not 2K. Don't insult my boy Chris Johnson.
I don't know how to say his nickname. So
CJ.
CJ.
His mom called him Chansey. We'll call him Chansey.
There you go. Perfect.
Chain snatcher.
There you go. But to replace Gardner Johnson, you guys added in Andrew Bukabo, who played really good in the preseason. You guys still have a good pass rush. It's a young but really good defense. Jahad Campbell's a name that you mentioned last week as well. He's going to be a fun piece to watch too, coming from Alabama. You look, all three sides of the offense, defense, and special teams. You guys are all set. I expect you guys to be back in the NFC Championship. Not sure if that's going to mean a Super Bowl appearance, but you guys will be back there. It just depends on who you face. And I just hope that we take 1 or 2 from you guys at least to give me some bragging rights over you. But it's more than likely we'll get swept again. But that just speaks to volumes about how far the Eagles are.
I'm just praying everyone stays healthy. That's all I care about.
Heck yeah, of course.
Shout out to the Eagles.
I know there's going to be ding and dunk injuries here and there. Just nobody get hurt.
As with all teams.
And shout out to the Eagles for having a fullback on the 53-man roster, too. Shout out to them for thank goodness.
They're bringing it back, baby. Even our owners, we're bringing the fullback back. I'm like, we're really going at it this year. Okay, power out. We're going 12 personnel, dudes. Or 11 personnel. Let's hit it.
AJ getting a 3-point stance. You're playing tight end now.
If I was going to ask one question, how concerned are you with the receiving depth behind AJ and Devontae? Because I know you guys added
less than it was last year.
Okay.
Because our practice squad has 2 NFL starters on it.
Yeah.
I love Mechie. I love Dotson. I think honestly, Dotson's biggest problem was he's behind Jalen Hurts. He's behind Devontae Smith and AJ Brown. Mm-hmm. If he goes to another team, he probably is the number 2 or number 1 receiver on that roster. He's got a lot of talent. The problem is when he got opportunities in the Super Bowl. I even said to DJ, I'm taking Jahan Dotson over because Hurts is going to hit him because they're going to try to double cover AJ and Devontae the entire game. Darius Cooper is the funnest story in training camp nobody's talking about. Kid went to D3, makes a camp, an open invite, makes the team over Terrence Marshall, a former first or second round pick, and a bunch of other players in that receiving core who were career guys in Philadelphia. So I love that. I love the makeup of this roster. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. So I'm going to miss Johnny Wilson's big butt in the end zone, but, for the 2 touchdowns he caught, he probably dropped about 3 or 4. So It's going to be a fun Eagles team. I don't know what to make. I'm just going to sit here and say, listen, everyone stay healthy. Let's hope we do something good. And that's it. All right. Any other thoughts football-wise before we get on out of here?
Eagles, Commanders, Giants, Cowboys. That's my standings prediction if we were going to have one.
Yeah, I have Eagles, Commanders, Giants, Cowboys as well.
Same thing, DJ?
No.
I initially had it as Cowboys, Eagles, Commanders, Giants, but I'm not happy about that with the Micah Parsons trade, so I don't want to talk about this order. I hate them all.
DJ's hierarchy of hate is just the NFC East and Daniel Jones.
But what have we done to you, though? What have my Giants done to you? Oh,
Daniel Jones.
But that's not our fault.
Yes, you cut him, or you traded him.
We cut him. We cut him. Minnesota got him in last midseason.
Exactly. Even worse, you cut him.
That was my birthday gift. Was Jones getting cut?
Wish that was
a really weird birthday gift, but okay.
I know, but it was a sign from God himself.
Listen, it made you happy. You were excited on the show. I'm happy for you. But I understand why DJ hates the Giants. The Eagles, I mean, besides breaking Austin Collie, I don't really see where we went wrong here.
That's been quite some time.
I'm mad at them. I'm mad at Jerry Jones for ruining the prediction I had by trading Micah Parsons. So now I have to reorganize everything. At this point, if I'm betting man, you're going to take the Eagles to win the division. And then probably after that, the Cowboys, Commanders, and Giants for me are kind of a flux. I still think the Cowboys are really good, so I'm put them at 2, Commanders at 3, Giants at 4. But I still think the Giants, like I said earlier, could be they're gonna annoy some people. They're gonna be a pain in the butt. They're gonna do like what they did last year, where they ruined the Colts' playoff opportunities by dropping 45 out of left field. They're gonna do that to somebody else who's actually good and ruin their playoff chances.
What makes me feel a little better is that all the experts at ESPN and all these podcasts are having the Commanders win the division, and I was like, yeah, woo! We're no longer the favorites. Woohoo!
It'll be the first time since 2003, 2004 somebody won the NFC East back-to-back. So I guess now's as good a time as any, but thanks to Jerry Jones ensuring that. Don't worry, we're not going to get in your way. We're going to send away a top 3 defensive edge in the game. Don't worry, we'll get out of your way.
All right, well, you can find DJ and our boy Kelsey at All Things High Level Sports live shows every Wednesday. They drop content almost every day on social media. Go check them out, everything High-Low Sports. You can find me, Nate, Matt, and the rest of the crusty crew at Korner Booth Pod. We'll be doing our Super Bowl our NFL season kickoff show on Thursday. It's only going to be an hour. We're probably going to go 6:30 to 7:30 or 7 to 8. We'll announce it probably Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. Other than that, folks, have a great rest of your Labor Day. Happy you spent it with us. Enjoy Bill Belichick and his team maybe losing to Texas Christian. I haven't decided who I'm picking in that game yet. But, yeah, have a good night. Peace.